Welcome to our Hebrew class, and for this week we will be journeying through Yehochanan John 11 verses 49 to 53. So let us now begin. And as usual, I show the chart of the vowel markings and also useful resources, just for those who are not too sure about that yet. So let us begin. And of course we begin with a mem, which has a value of 40, and a tet, a value of 9, giving us 49. Now let's do the letters. Vav Yod Aleph Mem Resh Aleph Lamed Yod Hey Mem Safid Aleph Chet Dalet Mem Hey Mem Safid Vav Hey Vav Aleph Kuf Yod Fe Aleph Hey Kaf Hey Nun Safit Hey Gimel Dalet Vav Lamed. Let us read it. Vayomer. And he said, because there's no pronoun, it's he. Alehem, unto them. The hem is them. Echad, one. Mehem, mem is from, hem is them. The who and he, and then I've added was, Kayafa, or Caiaphas. Ha-Kohen, meaning the priest. Ha-Gadol, meaning the great. Remembering that in Hebrew, the adjective comes after the noun, not before it. So one of them said to them, Caiaphas, who was the high priest. Now let us read that without any help. Vayomer. Alehem echad mehem v'hu Kayafa ha-Kohen ha-Gadol. Okay, part B now. And we have a bet because it has a dot in it. Shin, nun, hey, yod, aleph, tav, mem safit lamed aleph tav dalet ayin vav dalet veit resh. And now let's read it. Ba shana, meaning in. Shana is the year, in the year. Ha he, that. He, though it's feminine, it can still mean that. Ha he. Atem, which is you in the plural sense. Lo, not. Tedu, you do know. And the tav tells us is also second person, you do know. Not, you do know. And of course I've got down here the root being yada, which is a col verb to know something, to be aware. And then I've got devar, which means a thing. Now we may know it as devar being a masculine noun for an object, event, happening, or word. We might think of it as word, but it can also be an event. It can be a thing. Remembering also when the vowel changes and it's dever, it's a masculine noun and it can mean a plague, which is interesting. And when it's deber, it's a PL verb to speak. And when it's dubar, it's a verb to be spoken of, to be decided. So we just see how the change of vowels makes a lot of difference. So we've got to understand it in context. So in translation, Caiaphas, who was high priest in that year, this is what he's saying. You do not know anything. Now let's read that. Ba shana ha hi atem lo tedu davar. And then we have 50, and it's represented by a nun having a value of 50. And then we go aleph, fe so fit, fe at the end of a word. Lamed, aleph, tav tav, bet vav, nun nun, vav kaf, yod tet, vav veyet, because there's no dot. Lamed nun vav mem vav tav aleph yod shin aleph chet dalet bet ayin dalet hey gimel vav yod. Now let's read it. Af, and af can mean even, but if we look down here, af is as a conjunction, it can mean also or even, but as a masculine noun, it can mean nose, anger, or wrath. And then we go lo, meaning not. Tit bo na nu. Tit bo no na nu. Not you do consider. So how do we come to that? If we look down here, it's a hit pale, so it's a hit bo nen. So it's a hit pale verb, to consider, to observe. And that's how it's written in that form, which is, the only difference is the hey is dropped off and replaced with a tav, which is like a second person, which is you, and it means you do consider. Ki, that, tov, meaning, we know tov means good. Lanu, for us. Mut, meaning to die, the death. Ish, a man. Echad, meaning one man. Remember, the adjective follows the noun. Ba'ad, on behalf. Ha-goy, ha-goy, meaning the nation. You do not even understand that the death of one man on behalf of the nation is better for us. That's how it's translated. So now let's read that. Af, lo, tit, bo, nanu, ki, tov, lanu, mut, ish, echad, be'ad, ha-goy. Okay, part B of that. We have a mem, an aleph, a veit, a dalet, a hey, an ayin, a mem sofit, a kaf, lamed, vav. And it is me'avod. Me'avod. From destruction. How do we get that? Well, it comes from the word avod, which is a verb to be lost, perished, exterminated. So, in other words, destroyed, from destruction. Ha'am, meaning the people. Kulo, all of them, or it could be it all. Right? So, because kol means all, every, any, entire. And the vav at the end is like your pronoun, which can mean, because it's talking about people, it can mean it. But often translated all of them, right? Better for us than the destruction of the entire people. Right, now we'll quickly read that. Me'avod, ha'am, kulo. Right, now we're turning to 51, and it's represented with a nun, value of 50, and a aleph, value of 1. And then we read the letters. Vav, lamed, aleph, mem, lamed, bayet, because there's a dot. Vav, dalet, bayet, resh, hey, dalet, vayet, resh, hey, zion, hey, kaf, yod, hey, kaf, hey, nun sofit, nun at the end of a word, hey, gimel, dalet, vav, and lamed. Remembering that the vav, when it has vowel marks, are often, the vav is not said as a vav. It's said as an O in this case. So let's see. Velo, which means lo means not, and not. Mi, li, bo. Mi means from, the O at the end means his, and the lib, its root is lev, which is a masculine noun for heart. From his heart. Diber. And there's no pronoun, so he spoke. Because remember, diber means to speak. Ha-davar, meaning the word. Ha-ze, this. Ki, for. Ha-ya, he was. Ha-kohen, the priest. Ha-gadol, the great. Again, remembering adjective follows the noun. In Hebrew. He did not speak this word from his own heart, for he was high priest. Right, now let's read that. And it is velo, mi libo, diber, ha davar, ha ze, ki, ha ya, ha kohen, ha gadol. And then we have Bet, Shin, Nun, Hey, 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 Yod, Aleph, Vav, Yod, Nun, Vet, Aleph, Aleph, Shin, Resh, Yod, Mem, Vav, Tav, Yod, Hey, Vav, Shin, Ayin, Bet, Ayin, Dalet, Hey, Ayin, Mem, Sofit. And it is Ba, Shana. Ba meaning in, Shana, year, the year. Ha, he, meaning that. Va, yi, na, ve. So, vayinave, firstly, because we have the yod in front and the vav, it's not a noun, it must be a verb. So what's navi? Now we know down here, navi here is a masculine noun for prophet, seer or visionary. Being a verb, it's nibe here as a PL verb to prophesy, to predict. So therefore we understand and prophesied. Because with these prefixes it means it's a action that's already complete. So prophesied, it's a past event. Ashir, that, Yamut, he would die or shall die. Yahushua or Yahusha, Ba'ad, on behalf, because Ba'ad meaning on behalf of, for the benefit of. The people. Right. So he was high priest that year and was prophesying that Yeshua would die on the behalf of the people. Right, let's read that now. Ba shana ha hi va yi na ve ashir yamut Yahushua be'ad ha'am. Right, stepping forward, and we're now on 52, which we see is represented by a nun and a vayet, which is a 50 and the second letter 2, 52. Vav lamed aleph vayet, because there's no dot, ayin dalet, hey ayin, mem sofit lamed vayet, right, dalet vav, kaf yod gimel mem sofit lamed kuf beit zade sofit aleph tav beit nun yod hey aleph lamed hey yod mem sofit. And we read it, velo, and not, ve'ad, on behalf. We had that before. Ha'am, the people, levado, which is Levad can mean, if we look down here, levad is an adjective alone, by oneself, unaccompanied. So that means that levad is alone. And then the O at the end, because it's referring to people, it can be translated as it alone. Ki, for, gum, also, le, ka, betz. Gum, le, kabetz. So what's kabetz? Comes from kibetz, which is a PL verb, to collect, to gather, to assemble. So also to collect, to gather. Et, grammar marker, b'nai, which means sons, ha Elohim, of the Elohim. So therefore we see, and it was not on behalf of the nation alone, but also to gather the sons of the Elohim. So therefore Yeshua was dying to collect all the sons of Elohim. That's what it's saying, not just Israel. All right, now let's read that. V'lo v'ad ha'am levado ki gam lekabetz et b'nei ha'Elohim. And now we're in 52b. And it's a hey, a mem, a fe, Zion, resh, yod, mem, safit, vav, hey, yod, vav, lamed, aleph, chet, dalet, yod, mem, safit. And it is ham, fu, zarim. Hamfu, sarim. Now, the root word in the middle is pizer, which is a PL verb to scatter, to disperse, to dissolve, as in parliament. But in this form, we have a mem in front of it, and it's an action, right? So we got mfuzar, because it's fu, it's a completed action, means adjective scattered, dispersed. The scattered, the dispersed, to gather the dispersed. The hayu, and they become. Now we know haya means was, with a vav in front of it, it means to become, meaning future, and then the vav, of course, means they or it, right? And they become. La Chadim. Now we should see in the middle of that achad, meaning one, for one, but it's a plural one, which sounds funny, but that's because we're talking about the scattered people as being one. The sons of Elohim dispersed that they may become one. So it's a plurality of one, which might sound funny because we think of one as being singular, but one people is like a mass of people, right? So there's a plurality there. So now let's read that. Ham fu zarim v'hayu la'achadim. The scattered, and they become as one. And in the English, it's the sons of Elohim dispersed that they may become one. Right, now we turn to 53, which is a nun and a gimel. Gimel, the third letter of the alphabet. Vav, yod, vav, ayin, zade, vav, yod, chet, dalet, vav, lamed, hey, mem, yod, tav, vav, mem, hey, yod, vav, mem, safit, hey, vav, aleph, vav, hey, lamed, aleph, hey. Now let's read it. Va, yi, va'atsu. Va, yi, va'atsu. And if we look down here, ya'atz is a kal verb, to advise, to consult. And of course the vav at the end is they, and they consulted. yachdav, together. Because yachad means together, right? So it's almost yachav, it's like it together, you could say, but together's all right. Lahamito, lahamito, for his killing. Now, of course, the O or the Vav at the end is his. And, of course, we might see in the middle Hamit or Hamut. We had Mut before, which was to die, right? So if we look down there, Hamit is a verb to kill, to put to death. And that's where we get that, for his killing. Me ha-yom, from, and then the ha is like the, and yom is day, from the day. Ha-hu, meaning that. Va-halla, va-halla. So what's halla? Halla is an adjective for further on, onward. From the day that, or that day, and onwards. They deliberated together to put him to death from that day on. That's how it's translated. Now let's read that. Va-yi va-atsu yachdav lahamito me-ha-yom ha-hu va-halla. Right, now we've reached our revision to just see how we go by reading it without any help and then trying to also translate it as we go along. So we go, Va yo mer, and he said, Alehem, unto them, echad, meaning one, mehem, from them, the who, and he, Kayafa, Kayafa meaning Caiaphas, Ha-Kohen, the priest, Ha-Gadol, the great, the high. And translated, and he said unto them, one from them, and he was Kayafa, the priest, the great. Bashana, in the year, Ha-He, that, Atem, you, Lo, not, Tedu, you know, not you know, Davar, a thing. In the year that, you being plural, not you do know, a thing. Af, meaning even, Lo, not, Tit, Bo, Nanu, Titpano Nanu, not you do consider. Ki, that, Tov, good, Lanu, for us, Mut, death, the death, Ish, a man, Echad, one, Be'ad, on behalf, Ha-Goy, the nation. Even, not you do consider that good for us, the death, a man, one, on behalf of the nation. And then we've got me'avod, from destruction. Ha'am, the people, kulo, it all. From destruction, the people, all of them. But in direct, it could be it all. And then we have Nun Aleph, which of course is 51. Then we have Velo, and not, Milibo, from his heart. Diber, he spoke. Ha-Davar, the word, Ha-Zeh, this, Ki, for, Ha-Yah, he was, Ha-Kohen, the priest, Ha-Gadol, the great, the high priest, in other words. And not from his heart he spoke the word this, for he was the priest the great. And then Ba Shana, in the year, ha he that Vayinave, he prophesied, and prophesied, Shear that Yamut would die, Yahushua, Be'ad on behalf Ha'am the people. In the year that, and prophesied that he would die, Yahushua, on behalf of the people. And then we have Nun 50 2, 52. Velo, and not Ve'ad, on behalf Ha'am the people, Le Vado, only, it being the Vav. Ki, that Gam also, Le Kabetz. Le Kabetz meaning also to collect together. Et B'nai, the sons, Ha Elohim, of Elohim. And not on behalf of the people, it alone, for also to collect. Grammar marker, the sons of the Elohim. And then we have Ham, Fu, Za, Rim, the scattered. The Hayu, and they become La, for La, Chadim, for one in the plural. The scattered, and they become as one, or for one. Then we have Nun 50 Gimel 3. Va yi va atsu, and they consulted Yachdaiv, it together or just together. La ha mi to, for his killing or for his death. Me ha yom, from the day, ha hu that, va hala, onwards or forward. And they consulted together for his killing from the day that and onwards. Amen. And then we come to our vowel markings to remind us how we use the vowels. So firstly, let's look at the vav here with the oo sound, or the dot there. It's called a shu-ruk. So if we just remember the first vowel sound, which is shu, so it becomes oo. And interestingly, the three diagonals is also an oo sound, and it is ku-butz, ku-butz. And then we have a kataf segal, which is like the end of a syllable followed by a segal, which is said as se, eh. And then we have chirik, so it's an I sound, chi. And then we have a kataf patach, and this one is a pa sound, a patach, so it's a pa sound, and this is kataf kamat, so the A sound is longer, ka. Right. And now this is how we come up with all the various numbers, right? But let us look more at the numbers we don't use so much. And let's look at Zadeh has a value of 90. Fe has a value of 80. Iron has a value of 70. Samek has a value of 60, and Nun has a value of 50, and Mem has a value of 40. And that helps us just remember the values of these numbers. This chart is very useful. Again, I repeated the useful resources, and as we come to the end of this half hour, I just want to wish you a Shavua Tov, a good week, and I just pray that these are useful introductions and it's not too difficult to follow, and it's even for those who are a little bit more experienced, it's okay, but for a beginner, it also is easy enough to follow. And we just want to thank you for joining us, and we again wish you Shavua Tov, a good week, and may you be blessed as you look more into the scriptures by studying word by word. And thank you again for joining us.